Hey there! Today we're going to learn about some new methods of drawing rectangles. And what I want to do is go over a couple mistakes that I still see some students making. The most common is you want to really make sure that we're always punching in dimensions manually. And what that's going to do is make sure that we have the correct measurements in. If we use our mouse, it just is not going to be accurate enough at all to actually be able to draw these with detail. So let me give you a little example right here. I'm just going to start by drawing a line straight across, and then I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So you see I got this line here going right across. I'm going to get rid of my ortho here. And now I'm going to draw another line. I'm just going to snap it to the end here, and let's say I want this line to go up 12 degrees. So I've got my dynamic inputting turned on here, and see like right there it says 12 degrees. So let's say I place my line there. Oops. Click twice here. Okay, so I've got my 12 degrees. I click right there, and now let's say I go in to dimension it, and watch what happens. I'm doing angular dimension here, and I'm going to select these two lines. And when I zoom in, you can see it says 12 degrees, and I think everything is fine. But if I were to actually go into my dim style, which you haven't learned yet, but you will shortly, and I modify the precision of what I see there. So basically, the angle that we see has been rounded, and I'm just going to add a few more zeros onto that. And then now look what happens. I can see that it's actually not 12 degrees. Even though it said 12 degrees, it was just rounding. The actual dimension is 12 degrees plus a little bit more. So what we want to do to make sure that we do this correctly is manually punch in our dimension. And what I mean by that is I'm going to click my base point here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 6 units long. I'm going to hit my tab button, and then there where I have, currently says 9 degrees, I'm going to manually type in 12. And just to make sure, I'm going to hit tab again and hit enter. And now I have an angle that is truly 12 degrees. And if I zoom in here, oops, we can see that my other dimension was just a little bit off here. So if I go in and dimension this other one, so angular, I'll go my first line and then just my second line. Now, lo and behold, we have exactly perfectly 12 degrees. So with CAD, being that it's actually accurate up to 16 decimal points, there's absolutely no way you could use the mouse and accurately place a dimension. So we want to always punch in our dimensions manually. So that being said, going to delete these guys right here. Let's get into our advanced triangles. So we're going to start by hitting our rectangle button rather, and we can see in our command bar down here it's asking me to specify our first point. So I want to put this right on here, and then once I've clicked, now it's giving me another number of options here. We've got other corner that we can specify, which is how we've normally been doing rectangles in the past. Or we have 3 options here: area, dimensions, or rotation. So if I wanted to just say a rectangle that was 4 by 6, I'm going to hit 4 and then tab over to 6, hit enter, and then now you can see I've got a perfect rectangle here. Dimension this. So you'll see that that is perfectly 4, and that is 6. Okay, so we got our 4 and 6. Now let's say I want to add a rectangle next to it, starting at the same point. And I know that this one's 4, but I don't know the height to it. All I know is that it is, say, 12 units square, what we'd call the square. The area is maybe square inches, square feet, square meters, could be anything. We're just going to say square units. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to enter in A for area. And then now it's asking me to enter in my area, which is going to be in units, and they're units square, but we have no idea what these units are. It could be, like we said, centimeters, inches, feet, could be square light years. So all that we know is that it is 12 units, so I'm going to hit enter there. And then now it's going to ask me to punch in a dimension, and that dimension can be either the width or the length. And I can see right now that the default setting here is just length. And I'm going to change that to width for this one. And then now enter the rectangle width. So I think I said that was going to be 4 units wide, so I'm going to hit 4. And then now it has created a perfect triangle for me. When I go to dimension my base here, this should be exactly 4 or 3. And this dimension here, our height is 4. So we had set our height to 4, and then it automatically calculated that we needed a width of 3 in order to get an area of 12. And our area is obviously width multiplied by height. Okay, I'm just going to clear all of these and zoom back in here. And let's get back into our object layer, what we should be drawing in. And this time I'm going to draw another straight line across. I'm just going to hit my shift button so it's nice and straight. And we're going to do another rectangle. And I'm going to have my rectangle base be this point right here. And then this rectangle is going to be rotated a bit. So we'll notice one of our options here is rotation, and that capital R, meaning we can hit R to select that command. So I'm hitting R and enter. And for our rotation, you can see as I move my mouse, our rectangle is rotating on our pivot point, which was our beginning point there. And we're going to go with a just stick with our 12 degrees. So I'm going to hit enter for 12 degrees. And then now we can, you can see as I move my mouse, it's adjusting the width and height, but still, no matter where I move my mouse, it's maintaining that 12-degree rotation on our rectangle. So now it's important that we hit D for dimension, and we're going to put in the dimension of our rectangle. So the length is going to be, we'll go 6 for our length, and then 4 for our width. And okay, we're going to go into our dimensions here, and this time when we dimension, since we are on lines at an angle, we'll have to do a aligned dimension, and we can see that that is perfectly 6. And trying to snap to my endpoints here, that is perfectly 4. So that's pretty much our advanced triangles in a nutshell. Any questions? Let me know. All right, happy CAD work.